our channel. I'm Rachel.
I'm Nikki and we're the Stitch Sisters. And today is a very long awaited video. We know we've kept you waiting for about a whole month really. So we are very sorry, but this is finally our Sewcialite Soiree Dress video.
We finally get to show you and tell you all the details.
So if you remember, and we'll put some links in, but we actually put our dresses up to the vote. We chose 3 dresses each that we really wanted to make. So we were happy with you guys to choose which one they were going to be.
Yeah.
And in the end, Rachel made a dress from the new Gertie pattern.
The Night and Day dress pattern, which is the dress that she released under her Charms pattern range, where you get 72 different variations from the same dress pattern.
Which is amazing. We will be revisiting that next year, so we will look at it in a bit more depth for
summer,
you.
yeah.
Yes, so we're planning it for the spring, summer next year. And then I made the Wear Lemonade Lolita dress, which was actually on my Make 9, and of the 3 dresses that were on my list, it was definitely my favourite. So thank you everyone who voted, because you picked my favourite dress. So the soiree was on the 10th of November, and it was hosted by both of us and Jen from Gingerella J and Sarah from Like So Amazing.
Yeah, and it was such a fun event. It was really, really good fun, wasn't it?
It was.
I think we've said this before in previous vlogs, but and we've mentioned it on Instagram and stuff, but it was one of those nights where it was all a bit surreal really, because we spent the whole night meeting all these people that we'd not met before, but most of whom knew who we were. Yeah. So that was a strange thing for us, and we still feel like we're 2 little mums from the countryside. Yes. So it's weird for us when you've got people going, oh, I love your channel. I mean, obviously it's wonderful.
Lovely, yeah.
But it was a little bit weird, but lovely all the same. It went by so quick because we were having so much fun.
It did, and we didn't take any pictures at all all night, other than the photo booth, which we'll pop a few pictures up from there.
Which was brilliant.
And there is a video of Rachel dancing, which is just liquid gold.
Mum dancing at its best.
I'm going to insert that now, so you can all have a little giggle. But it's, it was a great night, and there was a lot of dancing. It was a great night, and there was a lot of dancing. There really was. Yeah. There was a lot of dancing.
The shoes came off quite early for lots of people actually, and I think it's one of those things with women, isn't it, when you're out, that the first person that does it, it's like dominoes. Everyone's like, oh, finally, right, off they come. And there were just shoes discarded under all the tables.
But it was such a good night.
It was. We started off with an afternoon tea, which was really nice. Lots of people told us later that it was a great way to break the ice, because they were able to meet people in that sort of more relaxed environment before going straight into a full-on party. Everyone
we met who was on their own, we would then immediately introduce them to someone else who was on their own as well. So
we tried really hard to make sure that no one felt unloved.
We think that I liked that. I felt like I was matchmaking sewers. It was great.
The outfits were fabulous, I have to say. There were some absolutely gorgeous outfits. Lots of sparkles. Yes. Lots of spangles and sparkles and glitter and all that sort of thing.
So, on to our dresses. So, I made the Lolita by Wear Lemonade. Yeah. And like I said, it was on my Make 9, so I've done a double tick on that. And I chose to use some beautiful brocade fabric that I got from Minerva Crafts. And it turned out fantastically. The brocade gave the skirt quite a lot of structure, and the whole bodice, because it's slightly off the shoulder, you've got this kind of really wide boat neck shoulder on it. The brocade gave it a lot of structure. The only problem I would say with using brocade is that on the very inside it's fully lined on the bodice, and you've got like a facing coming around the top to give you that lovely boat neck shape. And because I used the brocade as the facing and then had the lining fabric underneath, I got what I could only describe as brocade rub by the end of
brocade
chafage by the end of the evening. So as it sits on your shoulders and you move your arms around, I was getting this kind of rubbing.
Yeah. So those metallic threads can be really...
Even though there was no raw edges or anything, it was just the outside of the fabric was just rubbing against my skin. So if I made it again, I would probably put the lining all the way to the top and just make sure that it's understitched so that it all sat nicely and it didn't creep up, because you could even top stitch around the top, it would be absolutely fine, but that would, and then that would make it much more comfortable. Either that or some wadding or
nice
fur.
squishy facing.
All in all, the make was fairly simple. The Wear Lemonade is a French company, and so their patterns come in both French and English in the same book. And so what you will find is you'll find it in French and then you'll find it in English. And I have to say, if you're quite new to dressmaking, I would avoid doing anything from them, because the translation just means that it's being translated in a very simplistic way. You're not getting a lot of detail, you're not getting anything explained completely. They're just saying things like sew the zip on and things like that. So you have to kind of know what you're doing, or kind of know what stage you're at in order to interpret what you think that they mean.
Didn't you also have a bit of confusion with the darts on the back?
Yes, the darts on the back were, there were these very long thin darts that came all the way up to my shoulder blades. So from the waistband, or from the waist right the way up to the very top of the dress. And on the pattern piece, you couldn't quite see where it ended. It's just like, they're just dots basically. It's not marked as a V or anything like that. So I was a bit confused.
Just because it is a very, very long dart for the back. You don't usually get them that long. But
long and skinny, and you know, kind of, I mean,
but it did give it a lovely shape.
It really did.
Yeah. So I guess it's just worth mentioning, just so that people aren't confused. If you decide to make that pattern, it is supposed to be like that.
It's supposed to be like that. I think, because I think the pattern piece from memory is that on the back you've got two separate pieces. You've got the facing piece and then you've got the bodice piece, and you have to kind of put both together in order to get the shape of the dart. And I kind of had this dart going into nowhere, and I didn't quite understand what was happening. But in the end, the shape was absolutely beautiful. I mean, just really beautifully constructed. The skirt was, again, it's just a panelled skirt, and I did wear a big
circle skirt.
Circle skirt, yes. I just felt it was, you know, sometimes you make patterns and you know that they've done it properly. Yeah. Everything is very precise and very accurate, and it just felt like it was really well drafted as well. So even though they're very simple pieces, I knew as I was making it that it was going to be beautiful.
And it was. You looked absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
You really did.
Thank you.
And every time somebody told you that they liked your dress, you would flash them your petticoat.
There's a few pictures of me doing that.
Well, because if you're going to wear a bright blue petticoat under something, then you're not going to do that and leave it hidden, are you? And Nikki took every opportunity. Every time I turned around, she was there flashing someone.
The dancing, it was coming into its own, definitely.
Yes.
But then I think that's the kind of, I don't normally wear big fluffy things like that, so it did feel really special.
Well, I think you definitely should, because
it's nice
it really
to wear something
suited
different.
you. And I loved seeing how, because as somebody who's worn a lot of big poofy dresses in the past, I know how it changes how you feel. It makes you feel very feminine and flirty and fun and twirly, and it was really nice to see you just carrying yourself a little bit differently, just because I could tell that you felt really pretty. And then you always look stylish, but you don't always go for pretty.
Not girly. I don't know to do girly.
And I think that it was quite nice to see that you were actually enjoying it.
Yeah, I was completely, because you can't shy away in a dress like that. I think, because even though the colour wasn't bright or, you know, anything like that, I feel that the shape of the dress and the style of the dress was what I wanted it to stand out as, and that's why I chose quite a dark fabric. But the fabric itself was absolutely beautiful, and it was only, I think it was $8.99 or $9.99 from Minerva, so it wasn't bank breaking. And I know some brocades can be, but I think it was.
It was also one of those lovely ones that's you can use either side.
Yeah, so it's got either a blue background with black flowers, or it's got a black background with blue flowers, and I chose the blue because I didn't want it quite so dark as the black. But
it is truly double-sided.
Double-sided,
you can totally decide whichever one you want, and that gives you lots of options.
Yeah, and they have them in a couple of colours as well. So I would definitely recommend it. A lot of the times people who make that Wear Lemonade dress are making it as a wedding dress.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine that actually. Did the T-Rex arms bother you at all?
So as it came across here, so this section was quite tight, and I had the sleeves come down to about here, and it just meant that I couldn't actually lift my arms above there. That was as far as it went, but I wasn't doing any kind of like big waving or anything like that, or reaching off top shelves. It caused the brocade rub.
Oh,
So-
every time you need to lift your
Every time I
arms.
need to lift my arms, I was red raw by the end of the evening, but it was worth it. It was worth the pain.
It did make me laugh because Nikki couldn't really move her arms, and my skirt was so tight on the bottom half that I couldn't really bend down. So between us, it was like, you do the bottom half and I'll do the top half.
There's a bit of jiggling going on. So tell us
Price
about
of looking
yours.
good.
Yes, I know.
So mine, the Gertie night and day dress, and you guys chose the option where it was the round neck bodice with a bishop sleeve and a trumpet skirt. And the genius of this pattern is that all of those pieces are broken down. So you have several different types of bodice you can choose from. There's a square neck, there's a round neck, there's a dual neck, I think. Then you've got the option of sleeveless or a variety of sleeves. So there's cap sleeve, there's a 3/4 length bishop, there's a full length bishop, which is the one I use.
Always good for full length bishop.
Yeah. Just in life.
Just a real school bag.
And there's various other collar options you can add as well. You can add sailor collar, you can add a Peter Pan collar.
Lovely.
And then skirts, you've got a few options. There's circle skirts, gathered skirts, trumpet skirt, which is what I used, and then a really interesting skirt, which is it's kind of stitched down pleats but then full underneath, so very 1940s, 50s.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, really interesting. And I'm lucky with Gertie because everything fits me right off the page, so I don't have to do my usual adjustments. It helps even more so that this pattern comes with different cup sizes, so when you choose your bodice, you've got the choice of A to double D cups, and
that's through all the dresses in that pattern.
That's
amazing.
So that's really helpful because if you, like me, need a bigger size to accommodate your bust, but you don't want it to then be big on your shoulders and your arms and everything else, and this is perfect because you can cut the size of your body and then you can cut the cup size that you need.
Okay.
I cut size 8D, so 8 in American sizes is the perfect one for me, and then the skirt was an 8 as well, and the sleeve was an 8, and it was really nice. I got my fabric from Minerva as well, so it is the Prada satin back crepe that Nikki made her jumpsuit out of for Love Sewing magazine. So we'll insert a picture here just because she looks so fabulous. It'd be rude not to.
It is gorgeous fabric.
It's lovely to work with. It's really stable, but it's got lovely drape, but it's not fluid when you're handling it. It's quite stable to actually use. So that was lovely. The sleeves, on the other hand, were another story. So in the image that I showed you guys of Gertie, she had the sleeves in a netting, and I wanted that kind of contrast. I wanted a different texture and something sheer for the sleeves to recreate that look. But I was kind of stuck. I didn't want to do black because I didn't want it to look like a funeral dress, albeit a very posh one. And so I was looking at other dual colours, and it's really hard to find good colour matches, especially when you're shopping online. So I asked Minerva for some samples, and these two, the chiffon and the crepe, were the two closest matches. But chiffon is hard to work with sometimes, especially when you don't order enough. I only ordered 1 metre of this sleeve fabric, and I'd underestimated the size of the bishop sleeve pieces. And
never underestimate the size of a bishop.
Yes.
This could go on.
You always want the longest bishop, and you never underestimate the size. So I took a risk and I decided to cut the pattern pieces on the bias, and that allowed me to fit both pieces on the metre. It was okay, it's just that chiffon is difficult to work with anyway. When it's on the bias, it's even more unstable. But I just had to take lots of deep breaths and be very patient. The trickiest part was gathering the bottom of the bishop sleeve into the cuff. And then because it's got quite a lot of gathers, And with chiffon, that makes your edges go in every different direction, and trying to make sure that they were all nicely contained inside the cuff and that there were no bits peeking out was a little bit tricky. There was a little bit of unpicking that needed doing to get it right.
A bit of swearing.
Yes, a little bit of swearing, but I got there in the end. And the trumpet skirt is really simple because it's just a panelled skirt, so it's like princess seams, and you just sew them all together, and that gives you your shaping. So there's no darts or anything like that. The bodice has lots of darts and very deep darts, and that for me is always a good sign when I see Gertie's patterns, because anything that has really deep darts I know is going to fit a curvy shape really well. So it's got big deep darts at the waist, as well as big ones at the bust, and then there's 2 smaller ones on the back. So there's a facing for the neckline, obviously not for this armhole because you've got a sleeve, and the construction's really simple. And the instructions in the booklet are broken down so that you can follow instructions for cutting, and then you go down and find the dress that you're making and follow the instructions for that. And I think the whole thing was brilliant. I can't fault it at all, and I cannot wait to make more of those dresses from the night and day dress.
We might have a series coming because
they're just beautiful dresses, really well drafted. Yes, you do. Now you've found a love for it. So in terms of styling, the colour that I chose and the style of the dress, once it was made, I felt a little bit Mother of the Bride in it, and I was just a bit worried, and I kept saying, oh, does it look like my daughter's getting married?
I have to say that purple was gorgeous on you. It's such a lovely colour.
Thank
because
you.
I like that bright dual colour on you.
Yeah, dual colours do really flatter me, but just because it was quite a high neck and a very long sleeve and a very modest dress, and so I just thought
that's not what you're used to. Really.
Well, what are you saying?
No, but
what is she saying?
She likes a low cut.
I do usually have a slightly lower cut.
Do you think that's what it was? It was
possibly. If it had a lower neckline, I think it would have had a very different feel to it. And so my plan had been to pair it with leopard print accessories, but in the end I decided to go for some snake print shoes that I already had, and I bought a big peacock feather headpiece just for a little bit of drama. And I really enjoyed wearing it.
Would you make that dress again? Would you make a different variety of that dress?
Yeah, I think what I would really love to do is...
I loved the fitted shape on you.
There is another variation in the book, which is with the sailor collar, and I just think that sailor collar and a short sleeve would be a little cute little puff sleeve or something, would just be super cute.
In a polka dot. Can you please make it
possibly something like that. I just think it's really nice, and that sleeve I'm going to use on everything. I'm going to add it onto other patterns as well, because it's just a really, really nice shaped sleeve. And it's not got too much easing when you actually insert it, which means that it should be adaptable to lots of different patterns. So I will definitely be using that more often. So overall, huge thumbs up for me for my pattern. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Excellent. So we'll leave you with some pictures at the end, and you can see our dresses in all their glory. And we have to say we've worn them again. So we had a little dinner party. You had a dinner party at the weekend, and we thought it was a good excuse to put them back on and get some nice pictures. So actually, having worn it twice, I definitely would put it back on again. In fact, I am thinking I might even wear it to my nephew's wedding in March. I don't know whether it's too much.
No, it's no such thing as too much. As long as it's not white, you're fine.
No. and I might make like a little bolero jacket or something.
Oh, perfect.
Is a bolero jacket and Tyrannosaurus arms, is that a good combination?
Well, you really won't be able to move, but you just get someone to carry your purse for you, you'll be fine.
I'll get a shawl or something like that, that'll be fine. Anyway, so we'll leave you with some prancy pictures, and we will see you again. And don't forget, we've got Vlogmas running at the minute, so there's videos going up every day. There's no excuse. We've got Bit Stitch Sisters every day. So we'll see you there. Bye. Bye.